with Jerome Mesa.
Travis Lulay comes into the week third in the league in passing, now exactly 3,300 yards through the air. Tim Brown, and he is met and taken down by Etienne Legaré with a flag. And did Legaré get a hand on the grill?
Yes, he did. He knows it. His confession to his teammates right there, you're watching.
Major foul, face mask, Edmonton number 95, 15-yard penalty enforcement of the previous line of scrimmage, first down.
Last two games, Etienne Legaré has not shown up on the stats sheet. And that's after such a great start to the season when he had 4 sacks in the first 7 games for Edmonton. Draws a penalty here, and he knew it right away.
Hand off inside, and Andrew Harris up across midfield. Harris with the Lions touchdown in the late stages of the first half, his second touchdown of the year, and both have come by pass.
Now, both these quarterbacks, Chris, have used their running backs in a lot of different ways, and they're doing a good job so far in this game of avoiding those sacks. There's 2 good defensive lines in this game.
Second and 6, 3-man rush. Lulay's pass intended for Arlen Bruce and knocked away. Bruce has been a target twice, the first time the interception in the end zone.
Well, last week in Saskatchewan, Arlen Bruce with the 100-yarder, and he just had 2 catches, but one went for 100, the other for 16. And that ball, because it was inside, gave Weldon Brown a chance to get there.
So Paul McCallum to kick. 13 times he's placed it inside the 10 with no return. That leads the lead. This one fielded just inside the 10, and a short return and good downfield cover after a 45-yard boot. To the games with their sons, Rob and Douglas. What a great fan. Ricky Ray in trouble. Khalif Mitchell wrestles him down back at the 5. And Khalif Mitchell has his 4th sack of the year. He had 3 in one game against Toronto.
Yeah, that's September 10th, just recently, and Khalif Mitchell, this time, working right over center Kyle Koch. But look how quick he moves laterally, and this is a big man at 315 pounds. But he bounces to the outside, goes around the guard, and gets there. And right when I say the quarterbacks were avoiding the sack, Khalif Mitchell gets one.
Second and extra. Ray in his end zone. Underneath it goes the crosser to Bowman. And he gets across the 15 back close to the original line of scrimmage. And it will be 3rd down, Edmonton.
Good open field tackle there by Ryan Phillips, who I mentioned early on, made a play in the end zone against Edmonton. And he makes an open field tackle here. And I can't emphasize enough what kind of professional Ryan Phillips has been for this organization.
Made a play in the end zone tonight, made a play to the end zone last week. That uncanny knack of picking off Darian Durant continued for a touchdown last week.
42.5% of his interceptions against Saskatchewan. Amazing.
Duval lets fly. At the 50, it's Tim Brown, and a flag flies that we presume will be the 15-yard no yards. No yards against the Eskimos. Pascal Fiss. And the Lions have terrific field position at the Eskimo 44. Lots of time, and now Lulay out of the pocket, and he hits G-Roy Simon for a BC first down.
G-Roy saw his quarterback get outside and start to run, so he broke off his route to provide a target. His route initially was just to run straight down the seam. In fact, he was open. And as he's going down the seam and he sees Lule get outside, then he breaks off his deep route and comes back to the football. Just at the top of your screen there, you can see him break it off, come back to the sideline, and provide a target.
Got a challenge flag from the Eskimo bench thrown out just prior to the snap. So did the Eskimo coaches upstairs think Simon bobbled that, stepping out?
Edmonton is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass. The play will be reviewed.
Take a look, ball in flight here. I don't think there was any real question in his control. Foot's in bounds, 2 feet are in bounds. Control is there. I don't think there's any chance that this is overturned.
That challenge flag came out and was a little bit of a surprise. So what they're saying is we don't think the guy who's going to be the all-time leading receiver made that catch.
Well, 1-2. I mean, that's both feet in. Complete control of the football. This shouldn't take long.
Trouble is 81 often makes things look too easy.
You're right about that.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed by replay. It was a completed pass. It will be first down.
That's his 4th catch for 80 yards, 20 away from his 60th 100-yard game.
And now Geroy Simon is conducting the crowd. He's trying to get them to quiet a little bit so Travis Lule can call his play. And if he has to change it on the line, the old team can hear it.
First down at the Edmonton 25. Hand off inside, now kicked up by Andrew Harris. And he has 5 to the 20.
Has been home field advantage for this football team playing in BC Place Stadium. An overall record of 150, 88, and 2 in 240 games here.
But a winning percentage here of 627, and yet at Empire 5-9.
Yeah.
So you know they couldn't wait to get back. Second and 5. Short drop. There's the out, complete. Sean Gore the catch and a first down. He'll get driven back, but forward progress is inside the 15-yard line.
You know, this seems like a pretty routine play, but the reason it's made is because Sean Gore does one small thing that's fundamentally correct for a receiver, and that's to take an extra step back to the ball. Watch, he stops there. Now he's hanging there. 1-2 step. It's almost a half a yard, but he comes back. Just in case there's a defender closing, he can make sure he bodies him out like you're trying to block out a player after a rebound in basketball.
Another one of those first-year starters who's 6th in the league in second down conversion catches, makes another there. And now they'll try the sweep. Here Johnson reversing field through the traffic and ends up inside the 10-yard line. It's a tough way to run for 4 yards.
Kier Johnson wanted to get the corner. He's using speed and going full speed to get outside here. And the guy that cuts him off is Weldon Brown. If Weldon Brown doesn't flash out there and hustle and force Kier Johnson back inside, that play probably scores.
Just got out of the way of a heavy hit from Rod Davis. 2nd and 6.
Can the Lions finish a drive?
Here comes the heat, open man, and they're going to be, well, they're going to rule incomplete. Andrew Harris didn't catch the ball. There is a flag, and it looks like the Eskimos are going to be charged with roughing the passer. Harris would have been short of the first down had he made the catch.
Major foul. Roughing the passer. Edmonton number 97. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Julius Williams and Marcus Howard converged on Travis Lulay.
Well, they get there at about the same time. An extra step and then a push to the ground.
Looks a little more like Howard than Williams. Doesn't matter. Sixth time the Eskimos have drawn that flag this year. First and goal. Lulay steps up. Touchdown. BC takes the lead. Lulay took a hit from Rod Davis, but bounces in.
And he knew he was going to get that hit. He braced himself as he got close to the goal line. But this is Travis Lulay, and he is going to take that hit every time for his team and to get that ball across that goal line. He knew it was coming. Didn't matter.
Travis Lulay with his second touchdown of the season. Lions grab the lead, and McCallum adds the extra point. Shop in search of the next superstar. It's the biggest prize in television, The X Factor. New series continues Wednesday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on CTV. Welcome back to refurbished BC Place Stadium. Over 50,000 raising the roof and enjoying now, for the most part, Lion fans enjoying the first BC lead of the night. Jason Armstead on the return for the Eskimos. And Armstead's got a good one and then gets upended by Adam Bighill at the 38-yard line.
Well, the most important part of this touchdown drive for the BC Lions was the fact that they finished it. That was a great play to get things started, to get G-Roy Simon on the sideline. He broke his route off, roughing the passer call by the Edmonton Eskimos. It's a close one. And then Lulay up the middle. Takes a hit from Ron Davis to finish it.
6 plays, 44 yards for a Lion touchdown. Scoring on their last possession of the first half, and now the first possession here in the second half. Ray looked one way and drops it off the other to Burnaby native Calvin McCarty, who has plenty of family and friends in attendance here tonight. That's his first catch and a pickup of 9. Another Canadian back showcased here tonight.
Just want to show you Khalid Mitchell coming up and what he does to cause some problems for Ricky Ray early. Again, with great penetration, almost disrupted the play completely right out of the get-go. And then it was that tackle. He must have been a little fatigued by the end of that. And Kevin McCarty, a little stiff arm to get outside of him.
Yeah, the Heisman helped get him 9. It's 2nd and 1. Fake to McCarty, and Ray takes off. Ricky Ray up across midfield. Remember when Ricky Ray had that out-of-body experience last year and had over 100 yards rushing?
Against the BC Lions. And took some big hits there. You see the fake and how he reads Anton McKenzie. He sees Anton McKenzie crash down there, pulls the ball because of that, has the option to throw to Bowman. That's a play out of the Kerry Joseph play package.
Yeah, he's saying if a 38-year-old can do it, maybe I better. First down, and now McCarty. Not much there inside. Dropped near the line of scrimmage.
And Khalid Mitchell and Brian Ramsey, Chris, were just in a battle there. I mean, a battle that lasted right to the echo of the whistle. Big 6'3", Brian Ramsey and Khalid Mitchell. And they're just, as everything else is happening, these guys are just going to war in there. And it goes in behind the play. You miss them. They're still fighting. And then the whistle's blown. And they kind of go, okay, we'll regroup.
Ryan Ramsey, the left guard, the Victoria, BC native, 2nd and 10, and looking for Jason Barnes, and what a terrific catch he makes, but out of bounds. It'll be ruled an incompletion.
And on the coverage again, Ryan Phillips. You know, leads his team in knockdowns, leads his team in interceptions. Was on the bubble. Many were wondering if it was Ryan Phillips last season as a BC Lion. I don't think so. In fact, he's in the running for an all-star nod.
Molly Buono critical of Phillips, Dante Marsh, and a few other veterans early on in the year, but they've been back to their A game in the last month and a half. Here's Tim Brown, and Brown takes a solid hit downfield by Cornell.